members of the board and everyone that is here at the college. My name is Margaret Cortese. I'm the Artistic Director of Teatro de las Americas, and standing by me is Pantelis Palamidis. He's the Executive Director of Teatro de las Americas. He very kindly took over that job this year so that I'm not as heavily burdened as I have been in the past. I come today because I live in Oxnard. Actually, I worked here at the college in the early 80s. I served on the committee that hired Dr. Lakin many years ago. So I've had connections with the college over the years. But most recently, when Dr. Duran invited Teatro de las Americas to come to the college and be part of the Oxnard College Institute for the Latino Performing Arts, it struck me that we had a very strong college-community connection happening. And I want to commend the board because I understand that it is your policy to have strong interactions with the community. And in the same way as was mentioned a moment ago about the strong interaction between the working world out there and the college, I think that it's important that there is a strong connection between the colleges and the artistic world out in the community. I was recently appointed to the Oxnard City Council's Cultural Arts Community Advisory Committee. It's just forming. We haven't met yet. But one of the things that I will be taking with me when I start sitting on that body is strengthening the connections between the artists in the community and the artists in the colleges. So I want to thank you. I want to thank you very much for this attitude of connectedness with the communities in which you find your institution. So thank you very much.
Thank you, and thank you for the work that you do.
I just want to comment on those comments. First of all, Margaret, thank you for all the work that you put in today, and thank you, Dr. Duran, for instituting the partnership. And it just kind of dovetails on my earlier comments about how our district, how our colleges are in fact a community resource. True embodiment of that outlook. Every success to you, sir. Thank you.
Carrie Lang.
Hi, Carrie Lang, faculty member at Ventura College and Academic Senate VP. Tonight I'm speaking to you mostly as a concerned and a little bit confused faculty member. I did prepare some numbers and notes to speak on point 1404, the budget reallocation model, changing the budget allocation model. But as my day has progressed and I've talked with more and more of my colleagues, this has become an interesting and dynamic issue. So I've come prepared to talk about how the budget reallocation model, based on a 525 wish model, is a one-size-fits-all sort of model. And as all the trustees know from about different areas in the district, our district is not one-size-fits-all. Each community has unique needs. And when you try to address each campus equally the same with that particular model, you're actually taking away from the uniqueness and the individuality of each campus. Now, I fully recognize that the 525 allocation model is an attempt to resolve the current issue where low productivity is being rewarded over high productivity, and obviously that needs to be rectified. But the way that this particular model that's proposed is being pushed forward is not going to achieve the effect that it is intended to achieve. I had numbers that I brought to show mathematically why it wouldn't work, and why smaller schools with smaller classes and smaller programs will be continually dinged and continually dropped in productivity because of this new model that's proposed. I also came to speak as to how it is a model that we have seen in action at Ventura College over this last semester, used to actually eliminate courses from areas that are seen as not productive simply because we cannot house the number of students in that class. And we're talking about smaller classes like speech classes that for legitimate reasons can only have 28 to 30 students in them. This current productivity model penalizes that. it penalizes students for being in small, cohesive learning units. And that just simply isn't right. But the bigger issue that I discovered while I was talking to my colleagues about this is the fact that when this was proposed back in October, it was proposed at a DCS meeting where the Ventura College Senate representative was not present. And Ventura College Senate never even got a vote in this, a say in it at all. And then we were told, oh, it's pretty much a done deal. Oh, it's a done deal. It's a done deal. And I'm here to tell you that from the Senate perspective, we didn't discuss it. In our mind, it is not a done deal. We have not seen what this is going to mean for our campus. We're going through a change right now with our administrative team where they are making sweeping changes to our enrollment and what we're doing with our campus. By changing the budget allocation model at this point, all it's doing is increasing the instability. And we are teetering on that edge of small college versus medium-sized college. And this is just ensuring that we stay small college because it's ultimately penalizing us at a time where we need the support the most.
Thank you.
I'm assuming that meant my time was up.
We don't have a call. I mean, we don't have a timer tonight, but at least by my watch, I think we got there and then some. Thank you.
I just want to conclude by saying that as far as Ventura College Senate is concerned, this is not a closed deal.
Thank you. Moving on, Associated Student Reports, Moore Park College.
Hello, great to see you all again.
Just a little bit closer. I can't hear you very well. Sorry.
So in this last month, we had our first club rush of the semester. Over 40 clubs came out on Radar Walk and were talking to students and recruiting new members. It was really busy. It was really fun. And we have our next club rush tomorrow, March 11th, and we're hoping for another great turnout. If you're around, check it out. Also, our student elections for all three colleges, I believe, are coming up at the end of next month, and applications are already coming in, and it's exciting. We had Spirit Week last month, where each day was had a theme. Like we had a pajama day, a Moore Park College Colors Day. We had an ice cream social, and then we went to the men's basketball game and handed out pom-poms and foam fingers, and it was a lot of fun. On Thursday, we are leaving for 6 days for our National Student Advocacy Conference in Washington, D.C. As part of the conference, we have scheduled congressional appointments with representative aides in the offices of Congresswoman Brownlee, Senator Boxer, and Senator Feinstein to talk about issues affecting community college students across the nation. We're really honored to be representing Moore Park on a national level. And also, I want to welcome Dr. Sanchez officially. I've been seeing him across campus everywhere. He came to our AF meeting 2 weeks ago to come and chat with us, and we really like seeing him around. And hi, student life. And that's about all for Moore Park.
Thank you. I'm sorry. Again, thank you for hosting it this evening.
Good evening, Board of Trustees. My name is Josue Joshua Ruiz, and I am a current ESL and EAC student and part of EOPS. I have been elected as ASG president for the remainder of spring of 2015 for Oxford College ASG. My first highlight will be our goal is to increase student engagement, to support the Pizza with the President, which was the second annual pizza event with Mr. Duran, which was on February 26th, which was a great success with the students that were part of the event, and which we acknowledged him for the farewell of recognition and celebrated with the student that sang mariachi to him, and she was actually Rosita Godinez, an ESL student, and a cake. My second highlight is the celebration of Women's History of the month. I actually passed out a flyer. You guys have it in your front of your desk. I actually put it down. Everybody should have one. And that's for Women's History Month, the week of March 23rd, which will include a panel of women for diversity selectors, of which a lunch and will be part of the event. In addition, we will promote Women History Month throughout the campus with the inspiring flyers designed by our very own OC History Club. A third highlight, in an effort to continue to provide educational workshops and raise awareness on students' health and concerns, ASG is hosting an information workshop on mental health with a special presentation by Nima, which is the second flyer that I presented and I passed out to the board, which is this one right here, and who is the national largest grassroots organization dedicated to build better life for the millions of Americans affected by mental health illness. ASG invites the board and the district students and staff to attend our informal and our own voice on Thursday, March 12, 2015 from 12 to 1 p.m. in the student lounge. Resources and referrals will be provided. My fourth highlight, ASG will be hosting the Student Senate for California Community College Region 6-4 meeting on Oxford College on March 20th, which is a Friday. We invite all VCCCD students, staff, and faculty to attend and be informed about current legislation and state policies, student advocacy, and current events that Region 6 is working on. My fifth highlight, last ASD will be amending their constitution and bylaws this month and will present its student body in early April. This announcement has been posted throughout the campus and will encourage all students to attend and provide feedback and recommendations. Thank you so much and have a great evening.
Thank you. It's ambitious to redo your bylaws. Good luck with that. Ventura.
Good evening, trustees. Thank you for having me here. I'm sorry I missed you guys last month, but I made it today. I have some exciting things to announce from Ventura College ASBC. Today we have approved a sponsorship of 2 students to attend a conference that our college will be hosting. It's called the Latina Leadership Network Conference, and it's going to take place on March 26th through the 28th. It's going to be advertised to students at Ventura College, and they're going to be slated through an application process. So that's really exciting that we're going to give an opportunity for other students outside of our student government to participate in a leadership opportunity. We are also in progress of tentatively updating our 2015-2016 budget. So that we are meeting through our Finance and Budget Committee weekly to update our 3 budget, and that will get approved before April 15th. Our campus food pantry is continuously prospering. I think as of today, we've given out over 2 tons of food to students at Ventura College. So that's an amazing goal that we've reached, and it's continuing to grow. And
Thank you very much, and once again, thank you all for being here and each college having a representative.
Chairman, could I quickly?
Sure.
I would just like to introduce former trustee A.J. Valenzuela, who's come to join our meeting.
He just
Thank you
misses
for being here. He misses us. Good to see you, A.J.
One of the things that the trustees will be looking at the May conference is student engagement and what having a college culture and what the college culture is like, and it's one of the things that our student trustee Ilsa is working on as part of ACES to just kind of reflect on how different it can be on different campuses and based on the student life. So I'm glad that you're all here, and I'm sure she'll be seeking input from many students before the conference, so thanks. Okay, moving on. College reports, update on student success, and I'm going to go backwards to give Dr. Sanchez tonight and start with Ventura.
First, just want to add a little bit to what Lucia mentioned around the Latino Leadership Network Conference. It's going to be their 28th annual conference. We're pleased to be hosting it at Ventura College. They're expecting around 200 attendees, and there'll be 20 workshops focused around pursuing equity in the 21st century. So again, I hope a number of folks from our campuses here in the district, from the district office, can attend and support that. And just to change things up a little bit, I'm going to have the student success update given by one of our faculty members, Philip Clinton. He's a geography instructor, and as part of our equity plan, we've created a faculty academy, and Philip's going to talk a little bit about the faculty academy and how that's helping our faculty help our students improve their success, also within the mind of equity as well, because as we know, our students are connecting with faculty more than any of the rest of us on campus. So I'm really excited about all that's happening to support that. So Philip, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Gillespie. Thank you, Board, for allowing me to speak. It's a privilege. As most of us know, when we show up at a community college as an instructor, most of us, many of us, all of us lack training, formal training on how to be teachers. Most of us learn how to be teachers in the trenches, in the classroom. And as such, when we are faced with student classrooms where 60% of the students in those classrooms have to be placed in basic math and basic English classes, it makes our job difficult. And as a group of faculty, we've decided to come together as a cohort where we are going to work to readjust the way we teach students. Our focus is to share the best teaching strategies that we've developed. Each of us has a bag of tricks, but it's time to share those bags of tricks. And so the group of faculty that I'm working with right now, we're working on moving what we're calling, and please don't take this the wrong way, moving dogs to being cats. If you're a pet owner, you know what a dog is, and you know how obedient a dog is, and that the goal of the dog is to be pet every day and just to do what the dogs do. However, cats are independent thinkers. Cats do what they want because they have this innate knowledge within them. And so what we're faced with are students that are arriving at our campuses with the attitude that they are rewarded for having the right answer. That's not good enough for us anymore. We want students to have the ability to think critically. It's not important so much as the right answer as the ability to think through the process, even if they were wrong. It's good to be wrong, and it's important that our students recognize that we're not perfect, and neither should they be. So we're utilizing proven research-driven strategies that result in student success, things like non-lectures or experiential learning. In a matter of weeks, I'm taking students up to the Santa Cruz area and exploring the coastal geography and geology of California. It's activities like those that get students engaged in learning, not an hour and 15-minute lecture about a topic that may be near and dear to us, but maybe not near and dear to our students. Many of us in this faculty have been revitalized. We now take a keen look at how we teach and rethink the way we teach, and it's improving our teaching. It's nice to be refreshed every once in a while. So in closing, this faculty academy, this cohort of individuals, we're sharing ideas, we're moving forward, we're developing and sharing techniques that we can use in the classroom. And it's very similar to what the Professional Development Committee is doing, especially with the summer conferences, the Summer Institute for Teaching Excellences. So I appreciate the fact that the board and the colleges support this faculty academy, and I wish continued support. Thank you.
Dr. Duran?
Well, good evening, everyone. This evening, with regard to what's going on at Rockland College with Team Success, our foundation is in the process of selecting 250 awardees to give them scholarships at the upcoming ceremony on May 6th, and you'll be invited to that event. So we'll give out about roughly $250,000+ for instance to and/or transfer students. Along with that, the 3SP Task Force met on February 27th and discussed several key elements in terms of how are we doing in terms of the implementation of SB 1456. One area that we covered was the utilization of request for exemption form and how each campus is utilizing that. We came to find out that we do not have very many students asking to be exempt from the process, which is a good thing. But we need to make sure that they're informed of the consequence if they do. Secondly, we made everybody aware, they knew about it, that the extension of spending the funding for today's payment was extended until December. And so that means an opportunity for us to really utilize the funding that's been allocated to us in relationship to the plans. And in particular, give us some time to be able to garner those and hire those staff that you authorize under these funds to help us with student success. So we're working on that diligently. One other area that came in and with IT's input, the utilization of data, and they give us some updates on how we're doing in fall versus spring. And we're getting ready because we're going to be completing the first year in terms of what we've done collectively throughout the year. And we've discovered that one campus was doing some data cuts of their own, so we want to cross-tabulate that data to see are the numbers we're doing district-wide matching with the campus things it's doing. And so it's a way to help really validate the work. And in particular, VC was acknowledged for really having a high number of ed plans, completed comprehensive ed plans. And so we want to know what they're doing right. So this is the value of the team getting together and sharing this kind of information. And last but not least on this one is we discussed the impact of the early summer registration. The VSP, everybody's having to really hustle to make sure we're ready to get those students prepped for the early May 4-week session. And so they're stepping up their game for that. And in the course of the discussion, and you were well aware that the fall early registration was postponed and put on until next year. We have time to really plan that out so we don't have negative impacts on students. And during the course of the discussion, it was brought up that maybe while we're doing that, we might want to consider talking about a compressed calendar, which seems to support that very well in terms of ultimately, along with that kind of a calendar, but it supports student success in lots of different ways. Last but not least, just wanted to talk about in our campus, we're providing some training to our deans and department chairs on the use of data, the extension of our student success committee recognition of how do you use it, how do you analyze it, make it work for you, so we can make things better at the program review level and understanding how we can improve student success at that level.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sanchez. Can't put it off any longer. Here you go.
Well, thank you once again for giving me a chance to listen to what the prior reports look like so I can try to follow suit a little bit. And I want to thank very genuinely everyone for their very gracious welcoming. I feel so welcome. I feel so good. Including Trustee Perez, who came to my office and spent an hour with me. And I know I'm in a very special place and sacred to me. There are a couple of student milestones I do want to mention. One of which is that I attended today a Student Services Council meeting and learned that over 700 of our students are qualified for ADTs, Associate Degrees in Transfer. That's a huge number. It compares very favorably with the entire state of California. I also learned that a robotics team from Moorpark College did well enough in the regional qualifying events of the tournament that they are going on to the World Championship this year. And I think it's their second year in operation in Kentucky, which is quite a milestone. They compete with students from the top universities engineering program. So it's a tribute to the quality of our instruction there. In trying to get to know the campus community, I've done a few things. I try to walk around the campus a couple of times a day. I hold a couple of open door hours every week to give folks a chance to drop by and talk to me without having to make a prior appointment. I go to visit with people at their offices so I can kind of learn who they are and what they value. I've been sending out all staff emails at the end of every week, and it's just part of my way of getting to know the campus community. And I've also been attending classes that I get invited to. In my first week, I had the privilege of sitting in on Professor Drew Lovenstein's speech communications class. And just coincidentally, his dean shared with me the very positive student surveys or evaluations that he received this semester. She didn't realize at the time that I had sat in on his class. It was just coincidence that she forwarded the student comments to me, but I sent Drew a congratulatory email and thanked him for his service. And this is the email that he sent back, and I'll read it because it's lovely, and it refers to a couple of people that you're familiar with. He said to me when I sat in his class, he said, in my 30-some years of teaching, I've only had 3 presidents sit in on my class. You're one, Dr. Edinger was another, and Dr. Moore was another in Los Angeles. And so he says, Dr. Sanchez, you take me completely off guard again. Thank you for your very kind words. It's been quite an evolutionary process to get to the space I inhabit educationally these days. I'm the product of a number of great influences who have all fortunately seen the role of teacher as one who not only educates but inspires the love of learning. I try to set up a supportive, non-threatening environment in my classroom that does not just teach my students to speak, but to find their voice so they may be heard as well. As you probably know, for most Americans, public speaking is the thing that they dread more than even death and taxes. And so making students comfortable with speaking in public, a very important skill, is a huge and very important task. I heard you share your thoughts on Friday before our Flex Day presentation. We had a professional development workshop on emergency preparation that we learned about here tonight as well. You mentioned people and issues that inspire you. I found great comfort in what you shared and how you connected your voice to those values you mentioned. I also found that we had both faced our own mortality and some serious life-threatening health issues. Few others understand the filter of priorities and inner peace plus the sense of direction that comes with that. You mentioned your desire to make a difference in our community and the world in general. And then he said some nice things about me, which were clearly misguided, but he goes on to say some nice things about people that for which he would have a legitimate basis for complimenting. Dean Pat Ewens, who's the dean that sent me his evaluations, it was pretty special stuff here, as you've already figured out. Her leadership and stewardship of so many life-altering pursuits bring a depth of quality and character to our division that are unmatched in my 40-plus years in education. She's a combination of fair, demanding, supportive, positive, and powerful. That was a bit intimidating at first to read for me. However, her supportive, creative problem-solving skills, combined with her insightful observation, evaluations, and suggestions for improvement, have helped to make the past 2 years the best of my entire career here. I can only speak for me, but look at the rest of the division and you will see excellence everywhere you look. Thank you also for your words of praise and skill from Dr. Moore. By whatever means possible, the respect for her skills and dedication are returned tenfold. I stood in the lobby of her office at Los Angeles City College for about 15 minutes one day and watched her field a barrage of issues that were gifted with difficulty on every level. From personal to personnel, to legal, ethical, and moral, she handled it all with humor and grace. She then turned around and with that ready smile of hers offered to Keith Towery, our national champion finalist in informative speaking, a letter of reference and make calls to assist his educational pursuits. Keith ended up at American National University and is now serving as a member of the Secret Service. It appears we share common goals and the means to get there. Once again, welcome to Moore Park College. What a great team you're fielding. Jackie Robinson would be proud. And that last comment was because when I observed his class, the students who did presentations, one did one on Arnold Schwarzenegger's keys to success, and the other one very inspirational on Jackie Robinson, who's kind of a hero of mine for obvious reasons. And I pointed out to the student that Jackie Robinson is actually a product of the community college system. He didn't have it in his presentation, but he was a student at Pasadena City College before he went on to UCLA and the community colleges. Anyways, this is